If she seems uninterested, cold, or even a bit arrogant, that might be exactly where your chance to make her chase you begins. Yes, it's possible to flip the script, even when she seems like she couldn't care less about you. Has this ever happened to you? You meet a woman, feel that spark, exchange messages, maybe even go out with her, and suddenly her interest vanishes? You start overthinking every word you said, trying harder, being nicer, proving you're a good guy. But the more you try, the more she pulls away. And the worst part, you see other guys who don't even put in half the effort, being the ones she chases. Why does this happen? What are they doing that you haven't figured out yet? Today, I'm going to show you the secret behind this female behavior. You're going to learn simple yet powerful techniques that trigger psychological switches almost impossible to ignore. And the best part? It doesn't matter if she seemed indifferent at first. If you apply what I'm about to show you all the way through this video, you'll make any woman start thinking about you, craving your presence, and yes, chasing after you. So stick with me because this might completely change the way you deal with women from now on. You may not realize it, but a woman's first impression of you decides almost everything. And I'm not just talking about looks, but the energy you give off. In a matter of seconds, she can sense whether she's dealing with an average guy or someone who demands attention. Most guys blow this moment because they show up nervous, disconnected, or trying too hard to please. But a man who walks into a room with strong posture and focused eyes already scores points, even without saying a word. Want to know what really catches a woman's attention? Quiet confidence. The kind of man who doesn't need to prove anything with exaggerated words or forced actions. He simply is. He walks into a cafe, greets the barista naturally, and when he sits down, he's not glued to his phone. He takes in the space calmly, gives off a sense of presence, like someone who's comfortable in his own skin. That kind of presence makes a woman think, who is he? Another key point is personal grooming. You don't need to be dressed like a fashion model, but you do need to show that you respect yourself. Clothes that fit your style, well-groomed. Hair, a trimmed beard. Small details that scream self-awareness. And a woman picks up on that instantly. She sees it as a sign of emotional intelligence and self-mastery. Men who don't take care of themselves send a message of neglect, not just physically, but emotionally too. And yes, women notice everything. If your shirt's wrinkled, your shoes are dirty, your voice shifts when you're nervous. These are subtle but revealing signals. When you take care of your appearance, body language, and tone, you're sending a clear message. I'm a high-value man, and I know it. And that's where the magic begins. Because female desire is born from the perception of value, not from the noise of someone trying too hard to be noticed. Want to know what really keeps a woman hooked? It's not what you reveal. It's what you leave to the imagination. Predictable men are forgotten, but the ones who know how to subtly spark her curiosity plant a seed in her mind, and she waters it herself, thinking about you without even realizing it. A mysterious comment, an incomplete sentence, or a glance with a hidden meaning. All of it creates a magnetic effect. She feels something, but can't quite explain what. For example, let's say you're texting and you say something like, "You just popped into my mind for a pretty random reason. I'll tell you later." That creates a good kind of suspense, because her brain shifts into emotional alert. The urge to know what's behind that message starts to take over her thoughts. And believe me, she could be having dinner, working, driving. But the question, what did he mean by that, will stick with her. This mysterious vibe comes naturally to someone with emotional control. You're not being evasive, you're setting the pace. It shows that you're interesting without trying to be. You don't dump your whole life story right away. You know how to guide the narrative like a good book, chapter by chapter. This makes her want to get to know you. And the best part? It's her choice, not something you asked for. Now tell me honestly, what's a line you'd use to spark a woman's curiosity about you? I want to see your creativity. Drop the most mysterious and intriguing line you've ever used, or would like to use, in the comments. It'll be interesting to see how each guy here has his own way of triggering the right kind of desire. The right way. And yes, I'll be reading them all. There's something that deeply affects the female mind, realizing you're not trying to win her over. That throws her off, intrigues her, and attracts her. Most men act like they're on a mission to gain approval. But the man who's living his life with his own routine goals and clear focus breaks that pattern. He flips the game without playing it. And it's exactly that lack of neediness that triggers genuine interest. Want a clear example? A man who doesn't reply to messages right away because he's at the gym or finishing a project triggers an involuntary reaction in her. Why isn't he chasing me like the others? That slight discomfort sets off her emotional radar, not because you're being cold, but because you made it clear your life doesn't revolve around her. That activates the value trigger. And women feel that deeply. Men who stand firm in their identity don't have to talk about it. It shows in their actions. He doesn't cancel important plans just because she texted hey. He's present when he chooses to be, and absent with dignity when he needs to be. That's not cold, it's balance. Contrary to what many believe, women respect a man who knows how to set boundaries far more than one who constantly molds himself to please. She needs to feel like she's being invited into something valuable, not that she's being begged. If you want a woman to start chasing you, stop chasing her. Just keep walking with purpose. Make her realize that to be by your side, she'll need to match your pace, not the other way around. This kind of behavior completely changes the dynamic. She no longer sees you as an option. She starts to see you as a challenge, and challenges always stand out. Very few men understand the impact a simple phrase can have. When you say, "I want" with clarity, you're not just expressing desire, you're showing direction. And when you say, "I understand," you create space for connection. These two expressions tap into a woman's emotions because they communicate, non-verbally, that you're a man who knows what he feels and respects what the other person feels too. That combo is rare. And that's exactly what makes it valuable. Imagine she's telling you about a tough day at work. Most men try to solve the problem or change the subject. But the man who looks her in the eyes and sincerely says, "I understand how that affected you," stands out. She's not looking for quick fixes. She wants to feel seen. That's what creates emotional intimacy. From that moment on, the wall comes down, and space for attraction opens up. Now think of the opposite. How many times have you held back from saying what you wanted for fear of sounding bossy? The truth is, women feel more secure when you take the lead calmly. Saying, "I want to see you today" is different from asking for permission. You're not being pushy, you're being honest. That kind of clarity cuts through the mental games and shows you're someone who isn't afraid of his own desires, which is extremely attractive. The key here is balance. When you use these words at the right time, with genuine intention, they act like shortcuts to desire. It's not about memorizing scripted lines. It's about feeling what you're saying and letting her feel it too. A man who knows what he wants and understands what the woman feels doesn't need to prove anything. He simply connects, and connection is the foundation of any lasting attraction. A well-placed touch can say more than 1,000 words, and it doesn't have to. Be bold. Sometimes just the fingertips on her back as you walk through a doorway, or a brief touch on the arm while laughing together, is enough to spark feelings. Most men ignore this kind of nonverbal language or overdo it, creating an awkward impression. The secret lies in naturalness. When the touch is subtle and spontaneous, it conveys confidence and creates just the right amount of tension. Women are extremely sensitive to touch, especially when the contact carries light and respectful intent. That's why it's not about intensity but about context. You don't need to touch her constantly. In fact, the impact often comes from how unexpected, quick, and yet deliberate the touch is. It breaks the neutral zone of the interaction and generates a kind of energy she feels in her body, even after you've pulled away. The ideal moment is always when a connection is being built. Never use touch as a way to force intimacy. She'll Notice. And when she sees that you know how to respect her pace while still expressing desire without saying a word, something shifts. She feels safe but also intrigued. It's a rare sensation because it blends comfort with excitement. And that mix affects any woman deeply. A touch can completely change the way she sees you. It can be the thin line between being seen as just a good friend or as a man she imagines intimately. So use touch as a form of expression, not as a tactic. When it comes from the right place, it triggers physical memories. And physical memories are the ones that stick. The body remembers what the mind tries to hide. The gaze holds a power that few men master. It's not just about staring or maintaining eye contact. It's knowing how to look. A steady gaze with softness and intent can disarm even the most guarded woman. It sends a silent message. I see you. When a man knows how to hold eye contact without seeming anxious or invasive, he activates something primal. He presents himself as a man who's present, unhurried, unafraid, and that stirs something in her instincts. It's not about turning eye contact into a power struggle. It's about creating an invisible space where only the two of you exist. A lingering gaze followed by a subtle smile can be more effective than any rehearsed line. A woman can tell when your gaze matches what you're truly feeling, not what you're trying to fake. Eyes that wander, shift quickly, or avoid contact altogether give off insecurity, and that pushes her away before the conversation even begins. Now, if she returns your gaze and then looks down, that, for us women, is automatic. It's the body reacting to emotional impact. It's not disinterest. It's a sign that you stirred something. And the interesting part is that when you notice this and stay calm, as if you already know the effect you have, you step into a whole different league from the average guy. She realizes you're not new to the game of seduction. You play at a different level. So try it. Next time you're face to face with her, hold her gaze for just 1 second longer than what feels comfortable. Don't say a word, just observe. Watch how she reacts. That extra second might be the moment she starts seeing you differently. Not just as the nice guy in the conversation, but as someone magnetic. And the best part? All of that happens without a single word being spoken. You don't have to always be present to be unforgettable. In fact, being a little absent in the right way is what makes a woman realize how much she misses you. When a man knows how to step away at the right moment, he triggers something we rarely admit, the urge to fill the space that was once occupied by you. That intentional absence, when balanced with good moments, makes your presence emotionally valuable. It's not about ignoring her or disappearing without reason. It's about knowing how to end a conversation at its peak, wrapping up a date while there's still a desire for more, disconnecting for a few hours to live your life, and letting her think. When you do that naturally, the memory of what you shared continues to echo. And then the involuntary thought comes, why didn't he text me today? And that's it. She starts reaching out, not because you pushed, but because you left space. This works especially well when your moments together are intense yet brief. A date that ends earlier than expected. A call cut off at the climax of a fun conversation. A message left unanswered for a bit, but with an interesting ending. These small gaps create a powerful contrast. She finds herself wanting more without knowing exactly why. And in that state, interest grows naturally, without pressure, without manipulation. Men who know how to exit the scene at the right time leave a trail behind. It's like a subtle fragrance that lingers even after you're gone. And that's what creates longing, and longing drives action. While other men are trying hard to keep her attention all the time, you do the opposite. You become rare, and everything that's rare is desired. She doesn't chase you because you forced her to. She chases you because your absence made you more present than anyone else.